Well, today I have a special guest, the OG and influencer of the Pure Marquette. As a fishing guide, Walt Grau has probably spent more time on the Pure Marquette River than anybody I know, and it's probably one of the most innovative fly tiers I've ever met. And he loves to swing flies just like I do, and we go fishing quite a bit together, and we've had a lot of fun and made a lot of memories over the years. But today, Walt's going to tie one of his swinging flies. It's actually a keel fly, which is pretty innovative. Really cool concept. Keeps you off the bottom and not hanging up on logs all the time.
So, bending of the metal for the simple version. First thing you want to do is debarb the hook, because there's this great chance you could impale yourself. That's the other reason why you want to debarb hooks. Grabbing with a needle nose, you could actually mark your needle nose pliers to make the exact right method or distance, because that's where you're going to tie your wing on, just like that. And so you want to get that measured. I'm guessing, of course, because I did, and this is the tough part, the bending a hook, finding a hook that'll bend without breaking, and then not going too far and actually breaking it. That's the first bend you make. The second bend, here's another one. You'd have to have a second mark on your needle nose if you're going to do a lot of these. And you end up with a Dick Pope's keel hook. There's an old book called Fish the Impossible Places, written by Dick Pope's. And the reason why he started doing this is he didn't want to lose hooks anymore. Now, these hooks obviously are going to cut down a little bit on the number of fish that you actually hook that bite, but it really cuts down on a number of logs you hook into. And that is what you would start with. That takes a little bit of practice to actually do that, and you can certainly make different angles, but you have to start with a hook. This particular one might be a Teamco style hook that's sold by the fly shop. This one bends without breaking. You got to put a little circle around there so I don't screw up. And anyway, that's a size 2. That's bigger than what I use with a fry pattern. There's smaller ones. It's not foolproof. Nothing's guaranteed, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And we're going to whip one of these up in this. And this version is relatively simple for you people that, like me, have ADD or whatever. You don't want to spend a 10 minutes or more than 10 minutes on a fly. All right, we're going to use this olive type of thread. So after having bent the hook, and you start your thread at the normal place, I'm going to tie the unweighted version. This is something you can make really heavily weighted versions, and this is one there. That's pretty heavy. This is maybe even heavier. Something actually pretty good for Euro guys. I don't fish like that, but this would probably cast on that light running lines that they use. And that's the really heavy one. Now you bend the hook a little bit different than that. This would be the pure light one that I think is more snag free than the real heavy ones,
And easier to cast.
And easier to cast on fly lines. I'm going to start this one with some of this stuff, which is pretty good for streamers, like a one-shot deal. I don't really plan on putting anything on the other end of the hook. It's really only a couple of different materials to this particular fly.
Yeah, good guide fly.
It's a good guide fly.
Simple and effective. That's what we like.
Maybe just 3-4 wraps, and you've kind of formed the belly, bottom half of the. This is going to be a bigger fly than what the fry are, but it's for our purposes of showing up in the video, it's better. Do you remember the brand of this?
That's probably
Enrico's or something
Enrico
like that. Is that what it is?
Pawlowski or something like that.
Yeah, it's nice, fast,
It's
quick, easy stuff.
That's what I was going to say.
Brush.
It's crazy nowadays compared to when we first started doing this, like the amount of different fly tying type material now. All this new age stuff, and it makes it easier and faster, like these brushes and
That's right.
all the different kinds of
And this is a pretty
dubbing.
fast fly. After you bend the metal, it's really pretty fast. This is what I use on this one, the hot glue for.
Oh, okay.
Now this is it comes out faster than my other one. I'm gonna put it right there. Then, all right, stand up. I'm gonna do this, bring this back to that position, and you basically have formed what would be called the body of the fly.
Yeah.
I should have squeezed right there, but it's not going to be because that extended the glue back a little bit farther than I needed to. But it kept the width there because you kind of want to imitate the fry.
The portion of a minnow.
Yeah, a width, not just. And as far as that goes, you could trim this so it's more a minnowy look.
That's cool.
That is. And it's broader than just tying it around a straight hook shank, so you got more profile.
Right.
Now, this is sort of a material that people used to use to imitate the fry pattern without even knowing it. There were some very popular patterns. They thought they were imitating hex nymphs, and they called them Springs Wigglers.
Oh, yeah.
They were actually imitating salmon fry. And gray squirrel and regular fox squirrel was what they used a lot of. I think that's dry in there.
I remember we used to fish the spring wiggler, and then another one was the latex wiggler.
The latex wiggler was a little bit more
we
thread.
painted a little bit.
Yeah.
I know guys at 6th Street for a while, they did really good on those.
That's pretty good. This is actually probably even broader than the fry would really be.
Yeah, good profile.
Here's something that's really fast, and for some weird reason, putting a little chartreuse in them, which is not really the most natural color, but works, seems to make them more effective. I'm not sure why. You could put pink, orange, whatever in these fry patterns. This is, what am I looking at here? This is a mop type chenille that doesn't unravel.
Yeah.
So you can basically just put a little bit on there and glue it down.
It poofs out like an egg when you put pressure on it.
This is what you could use to change your color. They got this in pink and yellow and probably orange. And it might be a good idea to have all those with you. That's pretty fast, and that's just about done. I made this keel here a little bit bigger. This is going to be more hook or snag resistant than if I made that angle a little bit shorter, or a little bit less acute there. And you need to actually adjust that angle in there. This, a little ratty, but that's all right. Fish kind of tend to like ratty flies. When you use a glue gun, you can actually shape whatever is a glue. You make it skinny if you want. And
so do you fish this fly all year or mostly in the spring?
It surprisingly works well on even Chinook salmon.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I don't think they feed on fries, but it works, period. And it's a good idea to use a style of fly. This is just a style. There's other patterns where you could make bigger ones, smaller ones, whatever, for other times of the year for more like trout. But you use it when you want the fly to survive a little longer on your end of your line. You're not tying a new one on every 3 or 4 casts in some of our areas, not just under the water, but it resists getting caught in the trees. Now you can maybe make this a little smaller as far as the body.
I know you gave me some the end of last winter to fish with clients in the spring, and the chartreuse one definitely
works best.
Really good. Yep. Yeah, it worked the best, especially when the water was up a little bit, a little dirtier in the spring, but it really did work. Well.
So that's how you can put this a little bit of color in there pretty easily. Plus, I could have used some chartreuse thread or whatever, or black thread or something. I want to bend it, another one of those and make another one of those and make a shallower keel on it, as they call that thing that sticks down, that sort of protects the hook. So you start with the amount that you want for this is about the right place?
Yep.
All right, start with maybe just poking out a little bit, the eye of the hook, and you never have to go as far as you tend to want to go. That's it. Maybe, obviously, you could make yourself a jig or forms and have this done. You can't buy keel hooks. You used to be able to. They were never very good quality.
Yeah, they're pretty soft.
They were lousy, actually.
Yeah,
but
broke.
yeah, so that's one of the reasons why they never got very popular. But there's a lot of bent hooks they use for worm weights and things, and some of them are sort of like that.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah.
now I'm going to make a shallower. This just by moving a little farther in, I'm going to make a shallower keel on that. So that ends up being the angle. That probably is more useful. It's probably going to hook the fish a little better.
Right.
Any which way you do, I recommend doing this when you've got a hook upside down in the vise like that. You have a much better chance of impaling yourself.
Yeah.
And if you do, and I have, you can pull it off there a little easier. It's pretty embarrassing if you foul hook yourself and you can't get a hook out. All right, did I bring any other colors? I want to use that orange. There's the orange in there. So this was shallower. This is basically the difference. The body is going to be, I'm only not going to use as many wraps, so it's not going to be as thick of a body, but this is something you'd want to adjust.
So it would it sink faster then by not using less material?
Sink faster, but more than anything, yeah, it would look a little slimmer if that's what you wanted to.
More like a salmon fry, which we'll have so many pretty soon.
I think more than anything, it's gonna maybe hook the fish better than with a really deep keel when it's a little shallower. But that's just one of the differences. Since you're bending the metal, you can do whatever you want. And you have to have the right hook. There's a lot of different hooks you can use that bend without breaking, but you have to test that out first, obviously.
Right, a lot of trial error, which you have done over the years.
Buy the hooks that you can.
Found what you could use.
Yeah, that might have been just 3 or 4 turns that time. I think I did 5 on the last one. So it's a thinner body.
Right.
All of us who guide the river have a few clients that really like to tie flies themselves, and some of them get very disgusted when they lose them. This fly actually catches a few fish, and it lasts a little longer on your. On the other hand, when you start missing a few hits, you may want to make more throw some regular ones. There's just some places you got to. You're going to lose your fly unless you use something like this.
Right.
I got this fuzzy. What did I do?
Yeah, it just allows you to fish
a little longer.
More spots and a little longer.
It crawls out of trees and bushes and that's something we're always thinking about here. We don't have big, wide open spaces like the Western guys. This is something you could swing on a sink tip line in the spring. I think you can use it fall, whatever, too. Anytime the water's kind of lower and clear. I'm going to bring this up here.
Yeah, you swing this a lot, but I even, like the smaller ones you gave me, even like I was saying last spring, I've had clients fishing them under indicators.
Yeah, just drifting them.
Fish in the pools, yeah. Yeah, just another salmon fry type imitation that works really well.
I like how you can actually sculpt this thing.
Yeah, you can.
This is a brand new glue gun, and it's got this rubber guard on here. I'm sure it's so you don't burn yourself. It's for your own safety. But they tend to come off, and when you rip them right off, you can actually use it to do this.
Oh yeah, do a little
re-gluing and shaping and everything. I may actually do this, but it's too hot to grab it. It's too hot to grab it right at the moment. You might burn yourself a little bit when you first start to use a glue gun. And you could add another color of, did I bring any other? Actually, that stuff will work too.
Yeah, ice dub.
Ice dub.
I love ice dub.
I like sparkly stuff.
So do fish.
And so does steelhead often like sparkly stuff. More often they will, gravitate toward this stuff than otherwise. Brown trout, maybe you want to keep stuff more subdued sometimes, but I'm going to just keep this. This is what should hit the bottom, this part right here. And I can keep tying these different variations of them all day. And the weighted version, it snags a little bit more on the bottom and other stuff. But there's some times when that's what you want to do, is crawl it right on the bottom, just like a hatching fry. This is just the fry imitating version of it. You can come up with maybe a little brown trout or whatever, bigger fish.
Yeah, like a little black and gold.
Yeah, you change the pattern
to do a little olive and pink for a rainbow. Or
this squirrel tail, and they used to have more of a yellow, that color for body.
Yep.
But that was a hot fly for quite a while, and we called it a spring nymph, and people thought it imitated a wiggler, which was a mayfly nymph, but it really didn't look. It looked a lot more like a fry to me than it. This may be a little bit thick here.
Yeah, that spring wiggler, I still tie some. It's still effective.
Still works, and I think it works because it's a little fish imitating kind of deal. I guess if you really want this set in there good, you could put a drop of that hot glue there. I'm even gonna take this, maybe flatten it out a little bit. I think I got most of the hair. Let's try the yellow version. This is great. It's for that mop fly, and it doesn't unravel. It's not as thick as some of the stuff that they use with hand washing, that's for washing cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to flip this up, tie it down like that.
Yeah, it's just UV Galaxy Mop Chenille is what it's called. Yeah,
that looks much better than the little sparkle in there. Whether you believe the UV thing or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. Have it.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's not like chenille. If we did that with chenille, it would just all fall apart.
Regular chenille would, just unravel there, and now you got a little color there, and there's another fry pattern to bounce off a log. And if you think you're missing hits because of the Keel version, well, you can always tie a few that are just straight. Pretty simple, and see what the difference is. Now, the weighted version, you would get some kind of lead in here.
So the weighted version, you could either put like the lead wire on the hook, or you could even do lead eyes or bee chain eyes, right?
You could.
In the front.
I like lead or weight in the fly that's covered up with some material, just because I've seen a few rods break.
Yeah.
Cone heads hit them.
That's a good point.
Cone heads and they all make the flies pretty effective until you break your rod and you got to go running someplace looking for it. And it's happened to me with somebody else doing it. You can get ticked off at them, but really that exposed metal is an issue. Especially, something that's heavy. It's got a lot of momentum when it goes flying. And there's another reason why you want to have that barbless hook thing too, because you may need to pluck it out of your own hat or ear or something.
With all
it isn't just a fish. Yeah, we're thinking about when it comes to barbless hooks. Yeah, you lose a fish once in a while that you think you would have kept or caught because if you had a barb on the hook. I mostly don't believe it. Caught plenty of fish.
So do you have a name for this fly?
Keel Fry.
Keel Fry. Walt,
I just came up with
Fry. That's
it's
perfect.
A Keel Fry, And you have to credit the style to the late Dick Popes.
Yeah.
Fish the impossible places. Well, you can still lose it on snags and stuff. It just doesn't happen as much.
It's a great concept and super fast to tie, which I like.
Yeah, it's not bad. You just got to get good at bending metal, and I like bending metal.